Steven, does everybody in sports media owe Shohei Ohtani an apology?
Why?
Well, I don't know if you've seen the latest news, but according to TMZ Sports, seems to be that Shohei Ohtani was telling the truth. He did not know anything about his interpreter Ippei Mizuhara taking away $4.5 million. He was completely in the dark. And it sounds like the FBI has investigated and they found the same thing. And Ippei is going to cut a deal where he is going to jail because he stole more than $4.5 million from Shohei Ohtani.
So why does anyone owe him an apology?
Because we do this in sports media, Stephen, where if you look at a story and you don't think that someone's telling the truth, then you think that they're a liar. And pretty much everybody in sports media has been calling Shohei Ohtani a liar, or he's a bad friend, or he's the one that's been gambling. No one has bought this story. When he did the press conference a couple weeks ago with his new interpreter, everybody thought this was bullshit, and he's just going forward with the story. And it sounds like he was telling the truth.
So why owe him an apology?
Because did you hear what I just said, Stephen?
That needs to owe him an apology. It's the sport. It's not the sports media world that needs to owe him an
No.
apology.
How many people that have been covering the story have been calling Shohei Ohtani out?
I don't know.
A good deal of them, and no one ever owns up to when they were wrong. So I would love it if Colin Cowherd, pretty much all the big people in sports that do talk shows every day, come out and say that they were wrong, and they apologize to Shohei. Doesn't that seem fair?
I don't think that needs.
Am I being crazy here?
I don't think that needs to happen. And
why not?
Because just because this investigation has concluded, supposedly, like, isn't this what everyone was expecting? Like, I think it's totally fair to still think maybe what Ernie 2's thinking. I still say Ohtani is guilty and Ippei's the fall guy. I still say it too.
With the feds finding nothing?
Yeah.
Okay, well, correct me if I'm wrong. A couple weeks ago, you came on here and said that you believe that Shohei Ohtani was telling the truth.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I'm kind of in the same ballpark, but I wasn't going to call him out and say like, "Oh, he's the one gambling." I just think in sports media, we just do this thing, and I'm guilty of it too, where we just say this is what's happened, and you can't tell me otherwise. And then when you're proven wrong, you can't own up to it.
Well, who's to say they're not going to own up to it, though?
Does
this
anybody
news is
ever
still
do?
Fresh.
Let's give it some time. But if MLB has their investigation and they find nothing too, I think at some point people got to say, yeah, we were all wrong. Especially Giants fans.
This feels personal, Derek. This feels very personal because you're coming on here with a lot of passion for this. And normally when you have this much passion, it's personal passion.
Basically, I'm calling out Adam Copeland that he needs to issue an apology to Shohei Ohtani tomorrow.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Yeah. So throwing a blanket over sports media in general when really it's just the host. And I'm sure I would have loved to have been the fly on the wall just to hear you two arguing over that when that news broke down. That would have been funny.
No, he's just been going on Twitter rants and stuff, but he's not the only one. I do think a good deal of people have been basically calling Shohei Ohtani a liar. And there's good reason to. The story is kind of crazy. But if the feds and MLB, MLB in general, find nothing, then is it crazy to think that Ippei stole the money and that Shohei, as Dieter Kurtenbach put it so eloquently, maybe he's just really dumb. It doesn't follow his money.
Yeah, that's a very real possibility of that, for sure.
All right.
So I don't know. I mean, the investigation's the investigation, but I don't think anyone in sports media owes him an apology. He'll be just fine. He's going to be making a lifetime of money where his children, his grandchildren, his grandchildren's grandchildren, and his grandchildren's grandchildren's grandchildren will be able to live comfortably through the rest of their lives. He's doing just fine. And you know what? 4.5 million stolen out of his bank account. That sucks, but it's not that much in the grand scheme of things. That's like $1 to him.
See, that's what I'm saying, and that's probably a good reason why he didn't even notice it. But I don't know, dude. I just feel like sometimes everybody has these, these talking head shows, and no one ever can just say, "I'm sorry." What's wrong with saying "I'm sorry" from time to time? I was wrong about this.
Who are they directing it at? I'm sorry to the listeners. I'm sorry. Like, who are they? Who's he directing?
The person that they're talking about.
But Ohtani doesn't pay attention to the media, so who cares? He's not going to hear it.
I don't know. I think I personally would.
This is why he doesn't talk. This is why he doesn't do anything to the media, is because he thinks it's all BS.
Which is fair.
Right. Okay. Derek, for all of those who are wrong about Ohtani, let me personally apologize. They are all sorry.
There you go. Apologize.
Does that make you feel better?
Well, I'm just curious. What, you don't think that people in sports media, when they get something wrong, should apologize?
I think if they get something super egregious wrong, then yeah, but no one was apologizing when they literally said during his little free agency tour that he's on the way to one place, and it turns out he wasn't there. He was somewhere completely different. Like, they didn't apologize after that. People just get it wrong all the time, and it's speculation. So what? It's not like they ruined his life. And
I just hate that about our society.
Major League Baseball still posts every single thing they want about the Dodgers. So nothing's changed. Nothing's changed since then. Really.
You don't think his character was kind of
smeared?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
No.
Like a good bagel, it was smeared.
Sure.
Smeared even.
I don't think so. I like how TMZ Sports is the one that had the scoop, by the way.
I know. They are pretty much the arbiter of morality in our terrible, vicious sports media world.
Yeah,
Thank
you
God
want to talk
TMZ
about a
Sports.
publication that needs to you want to talk to a publication that needs to apologize. Look no further than TMZ.
Yeah, exactly. I just want all Giants fans tomorrow to apologize to Shohei Ohtani, and I know they all will.
You're weird, man.
By the way, how am I sounding? Just your opinion, man. Stephen Langford, Derek Papa. Would you believe
it sounds good?
There's a setting on my mic that until this moment I did not realize.
What's that?
There was something that I did when I first got this microphone that I did not properly do when I set up the software and everything. Mm-hmm. So we're on episode, 200 and something of this podcast? All the other episodes are bullshit. Going forward, now it's going to sound great.
Well, yeah, but I mean, there's a certain thing you can look up with the past history, and you can tell which episode we're on, Derek. Do you not know that we are on, I think, 217 now?
Well, that's the thing. See, I don't know. Cool. There's some where I count like the interviews as like bonus episodes. So I'm not entirely sure what the actual number is.
Yeah.
But no, I'll go with Ernie One here. Episode 269. Hell yeah. Now we're not there yet.
Hell yeah.
But when we are,
AJ Cruz. Man, where the hell has Skills been? That's a good question.
A good point. That is a good point.
I sometimes tune in to 95.7 whenever I'm in my car, and then I'll hear Skills from Vallejo calling in during like their Warriors This Week show on a Saturday, calling in and talking to our boy Evan. So I think there's a correlation there, because since Evan has come on, I don't think Skills has come on the podcast or been in this chat here in the podcast. Tough.
Yeah. Well, we'll open Skills bag with open arms when he comes back to this. Steven, what did you think of last night's Warriors game?
It's pretty sweet.
Yeah. 134 to 120. Warriors get the win. They are 3-1 against the Lakers this year. So if they win out the three remaining games, they will leapfrog them in the 9th seed. And it was a great performance, I think, despite what Steve Kerr said. 26 threes, 12 blocks. First time that's ever happened in a NBA game. Um, Draymond Green, 5 for 5 before halftime from three. Hasn't hit 5 threes in a game since the 2017 playoffs. And I'm glad, like, I'm always happy when Draymond Green shoots threes. People forget that he used to do that pretty frequently back in the day, before Kevin Durant came, and then he had to focus on defense. But he always had a pretty good shot. But yeah, the Warriors played great last night. Get the win, and yeah, Steve Kerr in the post game said, like, I don't think we played that well. I think we just shot a bunch of threes and won the game, which you could say that about a lot of playoff games the Warriors were in. But yeah, I was very, like, whenever they beat the Lakers, I'm just happy because, like I said before, I don't really care where the season ends as long as we just kick the Lakers' ass. And yes, I said we.
Yeah,
so
that's annoying.
no, I'm sorry, but I just hate that team so much. But we'll see what happens. Right now, it is set up for the Warriors to play the Lakers. It still would be them as the 10th seed and the 9th seed. Warriors basically have to win out to get the 9th seed. But yeah, I felt good about last night's game.
It was without Anthony Davis, and Anthony Davis has been on a tear. I think you have to bring that up. There's that little caveat there that Anthony Davis didn't play, because it kind of like when Draymond Green is out for the Warriors, they're just discombobulated, out of sorts. Everyone has to play a different role. Anthony Davis allows the Lakers defense to just do so many different things. So I think if they had him on the floor, it would have been a different story. But it's good for them to get their confidence in shooting that three, because really that's like if they're going to do anything this playoffs and make it far, it's going to be shooting the lights out of every single time they're in the building. So no, it was a huge win. And I don't know, this is just my kind of opinion. I don't know if Kerr necessarily was talking about the entire team, or if he was just talking about Kuminga specifically, because it felt like watching that game, Kuminga was the only one who truly played into the description that Kerr had after the game as to why they looked out of sorts and didn't play well. It felt like he was just singling out a player, but really calling out the entire team.
Well, there were two things that I noticed that made me say these are the things that Kuminga does, the basketball IQ stuff that Steve Kerr can't stand. So it was the foul right before the end of the first quarter on Spencer
Right.
Dinwiddie, and then correct me if I'm wrong, Steven, did Kuminga lose the ball in the fourth quarter or something, or he did something else that was kind of stupid? Where there was a shot of Steph on the bench, like mouth agape, being like, "You really just did that right now?"
Yeah.
I forget what it was, but I want to say like he touched the ball maybe when it was going to be clearly out of bounds on the Lakers and something like that. But there was two things last night where I'm like, that's the shit that Steve's talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. So it didn't feel like he was talking about the team. He just didn't want to call out the one player in particular and single him out. That's what it felt like.
No, I mean, that's fair. But
going back and thinking about that game, I mean, they put up 134 and shoot. I mean, by the time that they brought in their bench players, what was it? Like, it was like 130 to 108. So
yeah, they pulled away in the fourth.
So it's not like they played that poorly to the point where you're going to get, I didn't really think we played that well. We just made a bunch of threes. That's why we won. It feels like you're talking about one specific player, but not wanting to mention his name.
By the way, the power of the podcast. You ask and we receive. What's up, Skills?
Skills is in the building.
He is in the buildings.
The skills report. Skills that kills. Dodgeball.
There you go. I mean, I kind of get what he's saying. Like, I think that they didn't defend very well, but then they got the 12 blocks, which was pretty impressive, especially the one by GP2 at the rim.
Oh.
But no, dude, whenever they can go into crypto and kick that team's ass, and LeBron gave it his best effort. He played well. He was fighting the flu, trying to do his own Jordan game. But yeah, I mean, I do think that Anthony Davis not playing did play a role. I don't know, like Draymond even said it himself after the game, like, I don't know if I make all those threes if Anthony Davis is playing, because he would be on him and he can't shoot over him. So that's completely fair. And if Anthony Davis is healthy for a Lakers Warriors playing game, yeah, the size is been a pain in the ass every time they played them,
Dude,
especially last year.
I don't want to play the Lakers in the play-in. I told you that. I don't
I
want the
do.
Warriors playing the Lakers in the play-in.
Nah, dude,
I know
I
you
felt it
do,
last
because-
night.
because-
Give,
because-
give me
because
that
you-
ass.
Yeah, you want that, but what if you lose? What if you lose?
It
Because
would
that's going to
suck.
be the end of the. That's going to be the end of the likely the end of the big three. I know we're going to get into that.
You think so?
Likely, yeah.
Well, that's a
Likely
tease.
the end of that, and that's how the dynasty ends. Like truly, that marks the end right there. So, do you really want that? Like, I just look, man. It's not that idea. It's just I want the season to continue, and I want the Kings, because the Lakers in a playing game with LeBron James, who's going to pull out all the stops. He's going to do everything he can to manipulate the refs and what they want to do. And then combine that with Anthony Davis, who before going into that game, he was playing like a defensive player of the year over the course of the past couple of weeks. So I don't want the Lakers are a much hotter team. I think the Warriors have a much better chance of advancing if it's the Kings. But also, you never know if they do win out. Like, I mean, if depending on how the scenarios shake out, for all we know, the Pelicans could be up next, or maybe even the Suns. I don't know.
Yeah.
If they win out, there's a whole realm of possibilities as to what can happen. I mean, the Lakers is very likely. Kings are right there, but for all we know, Warriors could have the 8th seed come Sunday afternoon, which is wild to think about.
Yeah, I'll get into the scenarios real quick. And a game that the Warriors fans should have their eye on right now is Timberwolves and Nuggets. It's in the first quarter right now. Timberwolves have an early lead, 28-26. And this game is pretty much for the 1 seed in the Western Conference. So basically, if the Warriors get by anybody in the play-in, this would be their first opponent. And I think everybody would agree that you would feel much more comfortable playing the Timberwolves than the Nuggets. I don't think the Warriors are beating the Nuggets. I don't think any team's beating the Nuggets. I expect the Nuggets to win this game tonight and lock up the 1 seed. But Timberwolves have actually been very good this season. So we'll see about that. But yeah, this Western Conference is changing every day. I mean, a team like the Suns currently being in the play-in is crazy to me with all their expectations. But after what you saw last night, good Lord, they were down 34-5 at one point with Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, and Devin Booker all playing, and they were awful. And they're playing again tonight. I don't even know what the score of that game is, but it'll probably flip. But yeah, Western Conference standings are changing every day. So basically, the Warriors have the inside track for the 9th seed. If they win out the last 3 games at Portland, home against the Pelicans on a back-to-back Thursday, Friday, and then they finish up the regular season against the Jazz on Sunday. If they win all 3 of those games, then they leapfrog the Lakers as the 9th seed. Even if they are tied with the Lakers at the end of the season, they get the 9th seed because of the head-to-head record. So basically, the Warriors need, in order to get to the 8th seed, they need the Kings or the Pelicans to lose 2 of their last 3 games. And the remaining schedule for those teams, if I wrote those down, are, let's see here. Yeah, so the Kings. The Kings lost a pivotal game last night. They were leading the Thunder by 20 last night and lost that game, so that helped out the Warriors. Last 3 games for the Kings versus the Pelicans, so at home against the Pelicans, home against the Suns, home against the Portland Trail Blazers. And then for the Pelicans, I believe, so the Pelicans are home against, they're on the road against the Kings. They go to the Warriors on Friday, and then they finish up with the Lakers on Sunday. I think it's possible. I think, honestly, I think the Warriors could jump up to 8. And I'm looking more so at the Kings. The Kings are struggling right now. I do think, even though their last 3 games are at home, I do think they could lose to the Pelicans. I do think they could lose to the Suns, and they'll beat the Portland Trail Blazers. But that's all the Warriors need in that scenario.
If any Warrior fans or football fans and Red Zone fans specifically, God, it's diabolical what the NBA is doing here. The Lakers and Pelicans and the Warriors and Jazz playing at the exact same time. I think it's like both of them are 12:30 starts.
I think everybody's playing at 12:30 on Sunday.
This is gonna be like the witching hour. The witching hour for NBA for the NBA. Like all
Who would
these
you
games.
get to? Who would you get to host that?
Ooh.
I think they do that on NBA TV. I think like what's his name, Lefko, the fill-in Ernie
Oh, yeah.
Johnson guy.
Yeah. Damn, really? They have that?
Yeah,
Like
the
a
super
red zone?
nerdy white guy that likes all the rap references with Shaq and Candace and Jamal Crawford.
Super nerdy white guy? Is that
He
that's
just
how, that's how
I
Adam
heard him
Lefkoe
last
comes
night.
across?
I heard him last night. He was just dropping rap references and they were laughing at him.
Yeah. So how's that nerdy?
He just sounds nerdy when he's doing it.
Sounds like you're jealous.
Not one bit.
I would be. Come on, man. You're rubbing shoulders with Shaq.
Well, you're not
Candace
really rubbing
Parker,
shoulders.
Jamal Crawford. You
yeah,
know?
he's significantly shorter than those guys, but sure, rubbing
Yeah.
shoulders.
Yeah. Would you want to do that? Seriously, if I had like to do a studio show, I don't know if I'd want to do it with basketball because like if we have to do that one shot where everyone's in it and we're all standing, I don't want to prove how short I am. I'm gonna look like a munchkin.
Yeah,
You
you'd
know?
have to do the box a lot.
Yeah.
But you
Just
know
the
what?
old
When you're
box.
when you're with former athletes, there's no shame in that one. I think.
No, I guess not. I mean, you're the one that's standing next to Shaq, and those at home making fun of you aren't. So
Yeah.
those at home making fun of you, calling you nerdy for making rap references.
Which I do from time to
Damn.
time. But by the way, shout out to speaking of red zone and stuff like that. Shout out to Andrew Siciliano. That guy should be the face of NFL Network. He lost his job. I hope he lands on his feet somewhere.
He will.
No, I know
All
he
those
will.
people
But
do.
yeah,
All those people do. He's a pro. He'll land somewhere.
Yeah.
Maybe the Just Your Opinion Man podcast, co-host number 3.
If Greg was on, he would come on.
Really?
Siciliano is indebted to my dad for the rest of his life because they're Syracuse guys. Whenever I reach out to him for my show with Tolbert and Copes, he's like, sure, Derek.
A little bias there then, huh? A little Siciliano bias.
Oh no, me or Greg for what
You.
Greg. Oh, I love Siciliano. I've always said
Yeah.
that. Siciliano's listen. Scott Hansen does a good job, I will admit, but Siciliano's 10 times better.
10 times better is a little strong.
5 times better?
No. A little
3?
bit. Just a little bit better. I'm not gonna say
All right, fine.
come on.
Scott's well, I mean, hey, we're gonna see both of them. I brought this up. Remember did I bring this up on the podcast? They're gonna do a red zone style thing for the Olympics with both of them.
Oh yeah.
It's gonna be fun.
Hmm.
Anyway, back to the Warrior talk. Do you think they could get to 8, Steven?
I don't think so. And that back-to-back scares me because you're traveling. I don't care whether you're staying on the West Coast. You're still traveling from Portland to San Francisco. And with the way the Warriors have played at home and also with the Pelicans and the way that Zion Williamson has played, like I'm not feeling very confident in that game. Of course they can. Like I'd like to say they can, but am I going to say it's going to happen? No, because of that one specific game. Like on a back-to-back second half, you're traveling back home, and home is not where the heart has been. Home is where everything grim about the season has been. Yeah, I don't feel good about that game. That's just my honest opinion, man.
Yeah. I mean, that's the hardest game out of the last 3, I would say. But I do think the Warriors could get all 3.
It's the Blazers and the Jazz. They're not. Of course, it's
No,
the
I
hardest
mean,
game
yeah.
of the season.
Yeah, that's obvious. But I do think the Warriors get at least 9. I do think that, well, that's the thing. If they don't win that game, they can't get 9. So basically, they have to win out to at least get 9. If they lose one game, they're probably at 10. That's the way it's looking. So I think they could do it though. I think they're catching a lot of steam, and honestly, I don't think anybody in the Western Conference wants to play them right now, with the exception of the Nuggets. I think there is a mentality when these guys play like these young and upcoming teams. I'm like, if you're the Thunder, you might be just too young not even to realize it, but you're going up against championship caliber guys with a lot of inexperience on your own roster. The only team that could really say that in the Western Conference that has the same championship pedigree are the Clippers because of Kawhi and the Nuggets. Everybody else is kind of inexperienced when it comes to winning. So, and the Suns with KD. But shit, if it's a Warriors-Suns playing game, that would be terrible for the Suns. They should not be in the situation where they're in the play-in.
No,
but
not at
I
all.
would even say the Warriors have more confidence than the Suns right now.
No, for sure. With the way that Clay's playing, like Clay has just unlocked everything. You're getting another guy who's bringing you an average of 22, 23 points a night in their recent stretch when they've won 8 of their last 9 or whatever it is. Like with the way Clay's playing right now, I don't think anyone wants to see them, especially when Steph has not gone crazy yet. He's had some good games. Don't get me wrong. I mean, Steph is Steph. I'm of the opinion that Steph doesn't really have like a bad game. Sure, he has like a poor shooting night or whatever, but with the gravity that he brings, all the attention, just having him on the court, like that's a win to me. But if Steph gets going and then you have Clay and the Splash Brothers kind of refinding that youth and turning back the clock, so to speak, yeah, no one's going to want to play them. But sometimes when the Warriors are rolling like this, then out of nowhere, when they get back home, they have a dud. And that's what I'm worried about on Friday.
Well, yeah. But, I mean, either way, well, with what you saw last night, do you feel confident, and this was without Anthony Davis, so maybe a different deal when he comes back, if he comes back. He's dealing with left eye soreness, and I guess also nausea and headache, so I don't know if he was dealing with the same thing that LeBron's been dealing with.
I'm also dealing with I'm dealing with right eyebrow soreness. Can anyone see that? I got one of those pimples right in the top corner of my eyebrow. You see
those
that?
always suck. Yeah, those always suck.
Dude, I'm dealing with right eyebrow soreness right
now.
Dude,
you're like Woogie from There's Something About Mary. Mary, you ever deal with a whitehead on your eyeball?
They're just gonna grow over time. Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna get worse and worse.
But okay, with what you saw last night, do you think the Warriors, whether it's at Chase or Crypto, can handle the Lakers in the play-in? Or are you just that scared of LeBron in a win-or-go-home game?
I'm not saying there's no chance, but if you're going to have me flip a coin and the coin says Kings and the other side of the coin says Lakers, and you want me to land on which side of that coin, I would rather land on the side of the Kings. I feel much better about beating the Kings right now, especially with how inconsistent they've been. Like, the Lakers have been very, very good. It's crazy that they're the 9th seed right now. Like, just the fact, look, they've won, they're 7-3 in their last 10, right? And actually 2 of those losses recently. They were 9-1 before those 2 losses in their previous 10 games. They were one of the hottest teams in basketball. Warriors the same way. And honestly, I actually haven't gone back to look at like the strength of schedule to kind of measure who's had a better run here down the stretch. But yeah, I feel that very way about the Lakers because the refs would be on LeBron's side, especially with the way that he's playing right now too. He's unreal, man. Like you want to talk about someone who deserves an apology from the sports media? Maybe he doesn't. But
no,
like
God,
we have trashed this guy.
ESPN sucks him off every day. Stop.
We have trashed this guy endlessly because, well, of certain things like him lying and out of the side of his teeth every single turn. But you know, whatever.
Hey, Steven.
What?
The man can play chess, just not in real life.
Yeah. That's my favorite saying. But he's putting up 33 points and 11 assists, 7 rebounds in his 21st season. it's crazy, man. And I just think that he's going to play with so much force and get into that mode where he'll take over the game. And then Anthony Davis would be there right alongside him to pick up any of the pieces. I just wouldn't feel good about it. And then combine that with you got Draymond in this whole thing with Austin Reeves. Like, what if that happens again? You know, what if that sort of thing happens again and Draymond loses it?
I hear you, but I want that ass. I do. With what has gone on the last few seasons, when they won the play-in in 2021, when they beat him last year in the second round, I just want to end LeBron's season again. And I like I said last time, Stephen, the Lakers are the one franchise that can still talk shit to Warriors fans. So I just want that. I want to go into crypto. I want them to come here, and I want that ass.
Fair enough, dude. Have you like been glancing at the chat during this pod?
They go off on tangents. I love the opiners, but they usually don't go with what we're talking about.
No, it's totally fair. It's just wild to see what they're like. This new guy, 415 Wes with the
welcome,
Giants
Wes.
logo. Like they're talking pho right now.
Oh.
They're talking pho, and then I see the number 69 somewhere in here.
Yeah, that's the favorite number of the Tolbert and Cope show.
Tacky. What, 69?
Yeah, it's our thing.
That's totally original.
69, dude.
Every time it's brought up, do they go nice?
No, Tim, our board op, Tim Webb, has many drops of 69. So every time someone, even like a number that's close to 69, he'll just hit it anyway.
Oh, dude, it's like, I don't know. That number's always going to be funny. I know I'm kind of sounding I'm very sarcastic and condescending, but 69.
Dude, 69 and farts will always make people laugh. And the Seinfeld theme. That's something I learned this week. We're giving out Jerry Seinfeld tickets. As long as you just play the boop, 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 people will laugh.
Ah, yeah. Yep. Okay. Then they were like talking about how many people in the chat are white. There's an interesting one. Tacky said, "I look white." What the hell is happening in the chat, man? This is great.
Oh. Yeah, let us all know.
You guys can keep me entertained. Who is white? You can also keep me entertained, chat, while Derek goes on a soliloquy about one of these quarterbacks that are about to get drafted.
Oh, Steven, I break it down today. I break it down.
Yeah.
But before I get into that,
when I saw Drake May versus JJ McCarthy, I was like, oh God, what does he got cooking up here?
Oh, please, you're interested too. Stop.
I'm interested. Yeah.
All right. Before I bore you with my football talk, Draymond did bring up he didn't get a call last night with Austin Reeves running into his face, and yeah, he probably didn't. Or no, I probably didn't. He didn't get a call last night. But you know what? A lot of guys don't get calls. It happens all the time. Ask Steph Curry. So Steph intervened, and I like that. But Draymond went to the podium after the game and basically said, you know, people put me underneath, you know, the jail when I smack people in the face, but no one will ever, you know, I'll never get a call when someone hits me in the face. Which I'm like, Draymond, I understand you didn't get a call last night, but are you really comparing Austin Reeves running into you the same as you smacking the shit out of Nurkic? It's apples to oranges.
Yeah, he kind of grazed his chin by the look of it.
Yeah.
You know, I get that he was pissed. I totally understand why, but it didn't look as bad as maybe I don't know. I mean, he was the one on the other end of it. I can't speak to it, but I remember hearing that after. I was kind of shocked that he had that reaction. Like I didn't know that he would, because as soon as the game was over, I went to sleep. I didn't listen to any post game or whatever. I had to wake up in the morning, and then as I'm on BART preparing for my first report, and I'm looking just through the post game and stuff, and I see that, I was like, "Damn!" Like Draymond went off. I didn't think it was that egregious.
It wasn't.
Like and I get that he wants to, you know, make a fool of the ref, but so that was a little strong.
Yeah, but that's always going to be Draymond. I think Draymond thinks he knows more than referees when it comes to basketball. So he thinks that he can. I mean, I don't know. Should you be able to talk to refs a certain way? They're anybody else on the court, so I don't have an issue with it. But if it goes a certain beyond a certain line where you're using obscenities, then yeah, I mean that happens to Draymond quite often. But I did see a change last night from Steph. He did get involved, and that brings me to what Clay said to Draymond this week. Very good podcast between Draymond and Klay Thompson. And we don't need to play any clips because then we'll have to owe copyright to the volume. But excuse me, but I was very interesting what Clay told Draymond that, I mean, anything that he probably has heard a million times in the locker room is that we just need you. We need you out there. And when you're not out there, the opposing team lets their hair down. They know that they can attack more physically. And Clay even admitted that him and Steph are really nice guys, probably too nice at times. So they're not going to speak up. But no, I thought it was completely honest by Clay, but I don't think it's anything like earth shattering. It's just one player to another, one friend to another, basically like, dude, you're fucking us and we need you out there.
Did you listen to that on regular speed?
Yes.
Because that was a put the podcast at 1.3 times mode there. God, that was I listened to the first
Slow
5
for
minutes.
you?
I was like, this is gonna take a while. Like I don't like I normally don't like listening to it sped up. There's some guys who do, and it's crazy. My buddy Nick, he listens to our podcast sometimes, and I overheard him listening to it once, and he's listening to it at 1.5 speed. We're all talking about it like this, and our voices going really fast. There's no pauses. There's nothing going on, and I'm like,
you mean you mean Joe Lacob mode?
yeah, in a way, yeah. Yeah, it's like I don't know how he does it, but I had to put the Draymond and Clay at 1.3. I was at 1.3 on the old Spotify.
I never speed up podcasts, but yeah, those guys have a very slow delivery, so I can totally get that.
Yeah. Draymond's pods are really easy just to kind of speed it up a little bit. Speed it up a little. I love Lucy reference. So
is that the Vita Vitamin and Vegemin episode?
No. That's when they're doing the worker thing. They're in the chocolate factory.
Oh, and she puts
like
all the
having
things in her mouth. Yeah.
Yes, they're having to package the chocolate. Just a legendary comedy scene. Might not hold up, but you got to understand it's a classic. No, it was very real. It took Clay a little while to get to that answer. And it's set up in a way where I don't know if Draymond really wanted to hear the real, but it just kind of turned into like this is how much you mean to the team. Not
he wanted to hear it though. He wouldn't have asked it.
No, I think he did want to hear that, but Clay wasn't going to give him anything besides what he means to the franchise and to the organization. Right. Yeah, Clay was just down on himself and Steph, but yeah, it was. I like hearing Clay on podcasts, man. When he talks to people that he actually wants to talk to, like I don't think he has any, ill will towards the media or anything, but you could tell that for him it's an obligation. And I don't know. It's also, but the timing of the podcast is very interesting to me.
Why do you say that?
It's because they're getting down to the final games of the season here. And it just so happens that the one time that he wants to do the podcast, look, Clay, 50-50 chance you're going to be here. Like, come on. You want to do this while we're still on the same team. It will be easiest to do this while we're still on the same team.
Yeah.
So let's get this done here. Even though it was taped, I think like 10 days prior, because he kind of gave it away with the game against the Hornets. So I think it was done like over a week before. But yeah, I think the timing of it, very interesting.
Well, Clay even mentioned the future. He brought up his own basketball mortality, as he put it. and basically said like he did not handle things well at the beginning of the year. He's too focused on the contract, too focused on the fact that he was not the same player. And then he kind of accepted things and kind of just learned how to have fun again and
Well,
accepted the role.
isn't that what we talk? Isn't that what we've talked about though? Like he kind of gave a pretty clear answer. You and I both asked this question, like after again where he was slumping and then breaks out of the slump, and then he credits a heart to heart with Kerr after the game. Well, that was like is part of a handful of heart to hearts that he had with Steve Kerr, and he answered it in that podcast. It took 4 of them. He said it took like 4 heart to hearts with Kerr to finally reckon with where he's at in his career. Like, yeah, it's so that's how many it took. Pretty interesting.
Yeah, but I mean, I get it. Like, it's hard when you are the man to realize that you're not the man anymore. So, I mean, like Tom said it on the show right before he got benched. He's been a bad teammate this year, and it's been no secret. He's been sulking. He's been kind of selfish. He in the game where he had that bad foul late in the game. I forget who he was against, but Clay's just not been mentally himself the last few seasons since he's had these injuries. So he's learned to adapt. He's learned to change. And he even said himself, like, I don't know what the future holds. I would love to be back with the Warriors, but I got to, for my own, mental state, I got to see what's out there and see if there's anything better. And Tim Kawakami did write an article about basically that the Magic are going to be the ones to go after Klay Thompson. I don't know if Klay Thompson's interested in being part of a team in Orlando right now, but maybe if they pay him enough. I think that Klay at this point, he's back in the starting lineup. He's back to original Klay. I think that he's probably earned the contract that was offered to him that he rejected, 2 years for 48. I'd still would offer him that in the offseason, but I wouldn't go any higher on that. I think he even acknowledged that I'm not a max player at this point in my career. But Tim Kawakami, when he came on with us, did say that he thinks that Klay Thompson is more likely to be back with the Warriors than Jonathan Kuminga. And he said like, oh, I don't want everybody aggregating this, but this is just my belief that if they have an opportunity to trade Kuminga to get a huge piece this offseason, they will. And I believe the same thing. I think that Joe Lacob will have a hard time just saying goodbye to the big 3. I don't think that he wants to close the door on that. And Jonathan Kuminga could help in the future, but I think if it leads to, say, a Karl-Anthony Towns. I'm watching the Timberwolves right now, and they have a lead on the Nuggets. They're playing pretty well with Naz Reid. If they are comfortable with that going forward, who's to say that maybe they don't offer a Karl-Anthony Towns?
I mean, that's far and away in the offseason.
I know, but that's one I got marked down. Maybe it's not feasible, but that's one I'm thinking about.
Well, no, well, here's a couple of my questions with that though. I mean, if you think that Klay's just gonna get or gonna want a 2-year, $48 million deal with the Warriors, I think you're crazy. I don't think he's gonna accept that anyway. I think he feels he deserves more than that. Max players are upwards in the $40 to $50 million per year range. I think he feels he could probably get 30 mil somewhere. And my question is, does Joe Lacob want to keep the big 3 together as long as possible? If that means he has to keep on paying over the luxury tax, my guess is no, because I thought that was like his number one goal after this year was to try and get under this luxury tax with which they've been paying an exorbitant amount. And as far as the Kuminga, like Ernie too put it up here. What can JK bring in though? Like what type of player? I don't know. And this is where I'm kind of lost with the Warriors and their future whenever we talk about it. Look, based on whatever Klay was just saying, like I didn't get any confidence that he's going to stick around with the Warriors. Like if you had to ask me, it's just if you had to ask me, I'd think Klay would walk and they'd still just trade Kuminga. like why does it have to be either or?
It doesn't have to be. They're totally separate players, totally separate situations. But I don't know. I think Klay feels more comfortable being here. And I think he's proved enough where, he deserves a contract that fits to his potential. And I do think 2 years, 48 million is enough. He's not the same player he used to be. He does not deserve a max contract. He's had peaks and valleys this whole season. And yes, he's playing well right now. But let's see what happens in the play and in the postseason if they get that far. He was bad. He was bad at the beginning of the season, and he was bad last year against the Lakers. He was bad. So I think that 2 years, 48 million is more than appropriate for Klay Thompson. And if he wants to go make his money in with the Orlando Magic, by all means, man, go for it. But I think he just loves the Bay Area too much. And I think that honestly, everybody says the Lakers stuff. I don't think he wants to go to the Lakers. I don't think that he wants to be there and have to put on a show for his dad every night. Not that he needs to, and that he feels obligated for that, but it's just going to feel, kind of weird. It's your childhood team. Maybe at one point he would love to do that, but I just think he feels comfortable with the Warriors. So no, I was thinking about that last night watching the game, and Kuminga made his bonehead mistakes, and I'm like, listen, Kuminga has the talent. It's just a matter of, does he have the IQ that Steve Kerr wants? And there's just little things every now and then where I'm like, I'm sure Steve is just going crazy that he's doing this shit right now.
Yeah, dude, I could already see this next season. Here's how it's going to go. If that scenario plays out, Klay sticks with the Warriors and Kuminga goes somewhere else. Klay's going to start to struggle. Then everyone's going to get on Steve Kerr for not playing the younger guys, whoever those younger guys are, and for leaving Klay in. Klay's going to need to be benched. Oh boy, this guy needs to be benched. Let's get Steve Kerr out of here. He doesn't know what he's doing. Warriors made a mistake. They don't have anything to build for the future. Like, I don't know. It's crazy what winning can do, because the way we were talking about this team 3 or 4 weeks ago felt like this was the end. And now we're talking about keeping everyone together while trading Kuminga. Like, I don't know. I don't see that I don't see it. It's great for the big three. Like, of course I'd want to see them play out for the rest of their careers with the Warriors, but I just think we're really in for a long stretch of where the play-in tournament is going to be really their ceiling. And, like, everyone was kind of up in arms about the fact that they're celebrating a 10th seed clinch, but that's really what they're going to be celebrating a lot these next few years, because can Klay do this consistently all of next year? Like, I don't know, maybe will he play as free as he is? Will he be in that right headspace? Because it seems like he's in just this mode right now, which is, I don't want to call him unstoppable, but it seems to be in this mode where it's just, he's so confident, just so in every time he gets the ball, you feel like he's going to make a three. Can he do that for however long, for the next 2 years, if you're giving him that money? So it's probably just going to be what? Draymond, Steph, Klay, Steve Kerr, and then after 2 years, everyone gone. That's pretty much how it's going to be.
Basically, I mean, that's the timeline, and that 2-year contract will work perfectly with the timeline of Steve Kerr and Steph.
Yeah, well, that timeline doesn't do anything for the future. That timeline is just a celebration of the big three. That's really all that is.
I know,
which
man.
Is fine. It's deserved, but
listen, I'm with you. There's a part of me also many times this season where I said they need to blow it up, and I still think that in a certain way, because you're right. They are just a play-in team right now. Maybe they need to reset the whole thing, but I don't think this franchise operates that way, especially with Joe Lacob being the owner. And I heard you say, like, I thought his whole goal this offseason was to, make sure they don't overspend on the luxury tax. Joe Lacob doesn't give a shit, man. He wants to spend as much money as possible. He wants to win every goddamn year. He is one of these Jerry Jones, well, not Jerry Jones lately, but just these owners that will do whatever it takes to win. This is the most expensive team in the history of basketball. From Steph Curry to Chris Paul, it's expensive. But I think that they're just going to be stubborn and not reset it. They're going to go in with, they will do what they can to sign Klay Thompson back. I actually don't think that's. I think that the there probably will come to a certain number that they won't cross, but I do think with how he's played lately that they're going to reward him.
All right. I'm not as confident as you are, but
All right.
hey, we'll see what happens.
Other basketball news, real quick. We all thought that Giannis may be gone for the season. In the game last night against the Celtics, clutching at his leg, the non-contact injury too. Especially with, I mean, like, God, the Bucks. Should they really have fired Mike Budenholzer? Like, good lord, from what's his name? Was it Adrian Griffin? Adrian Griffin was the original coach.
Yeah.
Fired him mid-season, even though they were like 30-13. And then bring in Doc Rivers, who I don't think they've improved at all. And then, everybody thought that Giannis was gone for the season last night, which would have carried over to next season with how late the season is right now. And turns out that he did not, the Achilles is intact. He just has a high ankle sprain. But if we know anything with ankle sprains, it could be bad. It could be a ticking time bomb too between, KD and Aaron Rodgers. But no one, Giannis is, no Achilles tear. He may come back in a couple weeks here, but it doesn't bode well for the Bucks going into the playoffs in a week. So glad to see one of the biggest stars in basketball didn't get a significant injury, but it could mean that their season is not going to go very far.
You know what doesn't bode well for the Bucks in the playoffs?
What's that?
Having Doc Rivers as a head coach. Good Lord. Like that whole thing.
May I ask why you're all moving around your apartment right now?
Yeah, I needed to grab the remote for the TV, and
fair enough.
Jesse's currently taking a shower, so I had no one to help me out. So I took my entire laptop. Look, I'm committed. All right. That's what I am. I could have just left and let you just talk, but you know what? I stayed on the mic.
And I appreciate that.
On camera.
And we got a good view of your apartment. You were like Christopher Walken in that old SNL sketch.
Which one was that?
The Voyager, I want to say, where he had like a pencil thin mustache, and he would bring women over to his apartment, and it would just be like a close up of his face. It was a POV from a person. He'd be like, "Don't leave, don't leave."
Hopefully you didn't see too much of the apartment because it's a mess, and it's always a mess. But anyway,
it's fine. Yeah. So yeah, Bucks. I don't see them going very far, but good news on Giannis. Real quick, big news yesterday in college basketball and just the Bay Area and sports in general. Tara Vanderveer retires after 38 seasons. And when we think about Bay Area coaches, she's right there, man. Like from Bill Walsh to Bochy, John Madden, even Steve Kerr, with the success she has. I mean, I'm not familiar with it. I don't watch. To be completely honest, I think a lot of America is just catching on to women's college basketball because of Caitlin Clark. But Tara Vanderveer has been. I mean, my dad claims this. There was one point in the 90s where the Warriors were considering hiring her as head coach, which would have been groundbreaking. But she's a trailblazer in her own right, just being in college basketball for women. All the championships she's won, all the Final Four appearances, I should say. Just a legend in this game. And yeah, there's a Bay Area legend, Tara Vanderveer, retiring after 38 seasons as Stanford head coach.
Yeah, Olympic gold medalist too. She's done everything. She helped kind of change the women's game, but this is also what the Pac-12 gets. This is what the Pac-12 gets when you are dissolving in this way. This wasn't like a season, and I don't know. I'm not gonna act like I talked to her about this or anything like that, but I don't know. She's been doing it for so long. I think that she would have been likely to do it for one more had the Pac-12 not been going to the ACC next year, and she'll have to travel, cross country, going to different, I don't know, like take your pick, Wake Forest, Duke, I don't know, UNC. I think they're all part of the ACC, right? Like why would she want to do that when she's going into, what was it? I think it's 38 years with Stanford, but she was with Idaho and Ohio State before that. So it's been a really, really long time in college sports, but also with the NIL too, and the transfer portal and all those things. Like the college basketball, just the sport in general has changed so much. But they can thank her for the style, because the style of the game has changed a ton. And she just coached champion after champion. I was looking through it today. She had, it will be 51, but she had 50 players going professional, whether it's in the whether it's around the world globally, or whether it's in the WNBA, a majority in the WNBA. And the fact that the WNBA has only been around for since the mid to late 90s, 97, I want to say.
I think 93, maybe. I could be wrong though.
That's crazy, dude. It's crazy. So everything she's done, she's had such an impact. And I personally don't think she gets enough credit whenever we talk about the great coaches in Bay Area history. She's on the Mount Rushmore for sure.
Agreed. Flipping over to the NFL when it comes to news today, I don't think Rashee Rice is playing football this season. He is facing 8 counts, 8 charges when it comes to his arrest from last week. He's facing 6 counts of collision involving bodily harm, 1 count of collision involving serious bodily injury, and 1 count of aggravated assault, not to mention the drugs that were found in his car. Now, it was marijuana, but some believe that he was impaired while he was driving as well. I guess he's planning to turn himself in, according to Josina Anderson. But I can't see him playing football this season. It's one thing to be suspended the entire season. I think he's going to jail. I don't see how the NFL could save him here. It's a bad look all the way around with the race and then just fleeing the scene and having no remorse whatsoever when he's videotaped. I think the Chiefs are going to have to prepare for this guy to not be playing football this entire season.
Hunter Renfrow in a Chiefs jersey?
I think you and I brought that up a couple weeks ago. Yeah, that could be happening. He's not Rashee Rice, but yeah.
Do none of these guys learn? It's crazy, dude. How do none of them learn? I get it. You're young. You've come into a lot of money, and I don't know what Rashee Rice's background was, but you hear with some of these other guys who do this, it's like, hey, they aren't used to this, and this money happened quickly, and
yeah.
God, how do you not learn from the Ruggs situation? Like, just about speeding anywhere if you're a young player like that, because you never know that one wrong bad decision can turn your entire career around. Jalen Carter got off lucky, I think, personally, from everything that happened with Georgia. Like, it sounded like he was totally, not going to say he was like the reason it happened, but it sounded like he was part of those that were drag racing. And like Rashee Rice doing this sort of thing, I don't know. You just won a Super Bowl. Like, how do you do something like that? It's just, I guess it's the thought that this can't happen to me, but
yeah,
it's crazy.
It is crazy. And not to mention on Sunday, Texas defensive tackle who's going to go in the draft in 2 weeks, Devondre Sweat, got busted for DWI actually in Austin early in the morning. And then he immediately posted bail and then went to go visit teams, which has got to be awkward as hell. So kids do dumb shit when they're young. DUIs and driving, illegal racing, just people be careful in cars. That's all I'm going to say. And yeah, the Rashee Rice situation, I think Devondre Sweat will be fine. He just got to learn from his mistakes. But Rashee Rice, yeah, it's a bad look all the way around. And he'll come back and play in the NFL, but I can't see him coming back this season. I think
over 10 grams of weed. Over 10.
For Rashee Rice?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's bad.
It's like 10.6 grams.
Yeah, I
What
mean,
is that, an ounce?
it's a lot. I mean, back in my day, I could smoke with the best of them, my friend, but no one ever needs that amount of weed.
It's true. I guess.
What's up, Otis Bird? Look at him. We got the whole crew tonight. Fantastic. Some other NFL news. Josh Allen, not the Bills quarterback, the Jaguars pass rusher, got paid today. 5 years, $150 million. Depends on who you ask. Apparently, Mike Florio said that's not the amount and called out Adam Schefter for reporting that, but that is what we're going to go with. $150 million with $88 million guaranteed. And this comes out, I think, a week ago when Derek Brown got a new contract. Let me look up his amount real quick. All these defensive tackles getting paid a lot of money. All the pass rushers getting paid. Derek Brown got 4 years, $96 million with 63 guaranteed. So basically, if you're a pass rusher in this league on the defensive line or edge, you're going to get paid a lot of money. So Josh Allen, I guess, gets paid the third most annually now, next to Nick Bosa and Chris Jones.
I think it's a great. I think it's a great deal. I think by the time that the contract kicks in and you're starting to pay him that $30 million per year, the market's just going to go up. I mean, is there like a next great pass rusher who's going to reset the market like Nick Bosa? I mean, how much is TJ Watt making right now?
Quite a bit. Probably Micah Parsons is going to reset the market.
Right. Okay. There you go. Micah Parsons is. I mean, by the time these guys keep on getting paid the mid 30s per year, yeah, that's gonna look like a great deal. Might as well lock them up now. Good for them. I actually, I naturally read it as Josh Allen, the quarterback. I was like, what the hell, they're paying him $30 million a year. What the hell's going on here?
Taking a pay cut? What the hell
discount is this?
Yeah, I know. And then other news today, week 1, the Brazil game is going to be Packers-Eagles. So for everybody that is complaining about Peacock now, get ready, because this is a good game, and I don't like that it's in Brazil, but whatever. I'm go with the flow here. September 6th, Packers at Eagles, Brazil, on the cock. Get ready. My question to you, Stephen, is: are you going to watch that game? Are you going to be preparing for your wedding, or are you going to see Beetlejuice that night?
Boy, that's a rough question. Probably preparing for the wedding.
Okay.
Probably doing that. But I'm thinking, do you need my login? Do you need the login for the Peacock?
No, I'm good. I'm good with Peacock. I should be fine. But also, Beetlejuice coming out the first week of football. That is a terrible release date.
You and this whole thing about going up against football, a lot of these people, they don't think about that, Derek. They're not thinking, oh man, we're going to lose viewers to football. Like, what?
I'm sorry. I would be the one executive at Warner Brothers being like, guys, this release date is shitty as hell. This is the weekend the NFL comes back. I love Beetlejuice, but no one's been waiting 30 plus years to go watch it the weekend of sports or football specifically.
Maybe you have a point, but not everyone in the world watches football, Derek.
Quite a good deal of them do, Stephen.
A very large chunk do, but I don't think these movie industries are out there looking at the NFL schedule thinking, I don't know, we might need to push back the release date.
Dude, I mean, it's the biggest entertainment in the world. Well, not the world, but the country.
Sure.
I think you got. I mean, I think a lot of entertainment people or companies need to be cognizant of NFL shit.
Is it not going to come out worldwide though?
Beetlejuice?
Yeah.
I think it comes out that Friday, September 6th.
Worldwide though.
Oh, I don't know. In America, it's coming out then.
Yeah. I think it'll be fine.
All right. Do you want to hear my evaluation of Drake May, and JJ McCarthy? He's all the Twitter. All right. Drake May, JJ McCarthy. I've been watching, Steven. Been watching these quarterbacks. And I think Drake May is very impressive. In fact,
Wow.
I think
Alright.
that he has the potential to be like Josh Allen or Justin Herbert. He's kind of got the same kind of makeup. A lot of wow plays. He's got a strong arm. He's got good mobility. Problem with him is he throws the ball kind of blindly, and he takes a lot of chances. But it ends up in very interesting wow plays where you're like, holy shit, that looks like Patrick Mahomes, where he just ran around and threw the ball up in the air and someone caught it. Well, the thing with him is that he looks clunky when he plays. His mechanics are a little off. He just honestly, Drake May has the potential. Yes.
It's mechanics, huh? What are you?
Well, that's what
what are you? What are you? A quarterback expert? Come on.
He looks weird when he throws the
Mechanics are
ball.
off? Jesus.
You want me to dumb it down? He looks funky throwing the football.
Okay.
There you go. Basically, what I'm saying is, I like a lot of people are coming out saying like I want to draft him, like who was it? Merrill Hodge saying like whoever drafts Drake May is gonna get fired. I don't think so.
Jesus. That's a little strong.
And Kurt Warner's not the best. I mean, Kurt Warner's saying that he's not really high on him either. But Kurt Warner also said that the only quarterback he likes in this whole draft is Caleb Williams. So I would say that Drake May is worth it, but you may have to sit him for a year for him to figure out what the hell he's doing. Now, JJ McCarthy. He is a lot better than I thought, actually. He kind of reminds me of Brock Purdy or kind of like Tony Romo, where they are very good, just kind of dinking and dunking. And they can throw JJ McCarthy can actually throw the ball down the field better than I thought. But it was more so last season than it was this season. So in 2022, he was throwing the ball down the field consistently. With Michigan this year, they just kind of didn't have him do a lot, and he just kind of handed the ball off to Blake Corum and, dinked and dunked here or there. He throws the ball blindly as well when he's pressured, but he's very good at fitting the ball in tight windows. There's many games where I watch where it was like, damn, that was a good throw right there. He cannot throw an out route to save his life, though. The playoff game a year ago against TCU, he threw a bad pick six. He just has a bad time completing balls along the sideline. What else did I put here? He'll definitely need a running game at the next level. Like if he goes to a team and they're expecting him to be like just a past happy quarterback, that is not really what I see. I see a guy that benefits from a lot of play action pass, so he'll need a good running game. Basically, when I watch him, he's very impressive, but is he the fourth best quarterback in this draft? No. And I'm surprised that people were going crazy about Mac Jones at 3, potentially to the Niners, and everybody's okay with J.J. McCarthy going anywhere from 2 to 4 with the Commanders, Patriots, or potentially the Vikings if they trade up. I don't think J.J. McCarthy is a first-round talent. I don't. I think he's more second round. But for whatever reason, because, quarterbacks are hard to come by, potentially the Vikings are going to trade up to get him or maybe another team. I think that he could be very good at the next level. I didn't give him a lot of credit initially, but I don't see him as a game changer when it comes to being quarterback. I think that he could play very well, but as far as like being a first-round talent, I don't really see it.
So where would you think he gets? So where do you think he gets drafted then?
I do think that they're going to reach for him at 4, the Vikings, if that happens, or maybe they go 3 to. I mean, apparently the Patriots really like JJ McCarthy.
Of course. They do.
Why do you say that? They want a new Tom Brady?
Yeah.
And that's what I'm getting at, is that this guy kind of fits the mold of the old school quarterback. He's mobile. He could definitely move in the pocket, but he's not like, he doesn't wow you with his skill set like the other guys do. So I just find it puzzling that people hated Mac Jones, hated him, and people are okay with this guy. I just don't see it the same thing. And maybe it's because coaches like that he won a lot in Michigan, so he has experience. But yeah, I watched the national championship game against the Huskies. I watched every throw of that game. He gets balls batted down at the line quite often. And the most telling game I would say is the playoff game against TCU, where he was bad the first half and then got him back in the game the second half. And he threw the ball a shit ton in that game. But Michigan also doesn't have the offense to drop back and throw. So it's hard to tell what he's going to be at the next level. You can see glimpses of it. But I think he benefited a lot from a good offensive line and a good running game. And I think he's going to be fine at the next level, but it's being like a generational talent. No, I don't see that at all.
Well, it depends on where the system is, right? Like it's going to be about fit. Like just based on what we've seen from him so far, it's not like he's going to work with any offense just because he's that good. Like to me, it sounds like he needs the right system, and if you are going to take a chance on him, it's a big risk.
Yeah. No, I'm sorry. I'm looking in the chat here, and I love that you were just you're right here. I got 5 minutes to kill while Derek goes on his spiel. What do you guys want to talk about?
Oh, you saw that, huh?
Yeah, I did. Sorry, just give me one episode where I try to sound smart, Steven, while I fumble over my words while the irony of me saying that.
Say what?
Exactly. Anyway, that's what I saw when I saw JJ McCarthy and Drake May. They're both going to be good, but I think Drake May is a little better.
Yeah. No, I think Drake May is very talented. Look, if I'm looking at this from like a Raider perspective, like if I'm the Raiders, I don't want a JJ McCarthy. I don't want a Bo Nix. Michael Penix Jr., Jaden Daniels. I actually didn't read it. I saw Adam Schefter put out an article talking about like what it would take to potentially for the Raiders to trade up for him. I don't know if he's just trying to, I don't know if he's just trying to meet some sort of quota or something like that, but he wrote about it. I don't know if he's just writing about it just to write about it or whatever.
Paul Gutierrez wrote about it. He was just retweeting it.
Oh, okay. That makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
My sources, Paul Gutierrez. But yeah, I don't know. It's just looking back on the highlights, and I didn't do as much of a deep dive as you did. There's not much that really excites me about JJ McCarthy. Like those throws that you talk about, the tight window throws. You have to make those tight window throws as a quarterback. Can he do that in the NFL? I don't know. There's certain throws that Caleb Williams makes or Michael Penix or Drake May, where they drop back and the pressure gets to them, and somehow, some way they make like a deep pass look effortless.
Yeah.
And that's what it feels like. It's just more of a risk to take JJ McCarthy and these other guys. I don't know. It feels like it's more of a safe bet, and you have like a longer, I don't want to say like longer leash, but you have more options as to where they can fit as opposed to like McCarthy, who there's probably, I don't know how many systems they would need to be for him to fit, but you heard my time. I'm rambling on. I'm kind of getting redundant at this point. I don't know. It is not much excites me about him.
Yeah. With basically what I saw was that with JJ McCarthy, what you see is what you get. Yeah. With Drake May, there could be more. So I hear you. Like the Raiders want a game changer at quarterback. So yeah, Paul G wrote today that Mark Davis has pretty much given Antonio Pierce and Tom Telesco the green light to do whatever they want in the draft. And if they want to trade up to get Jaden Daniels, they could do that. The whole thing they got to wait on is are the Commanders just going to take him at 2, which all signs seem to point to that. So if for whatever reason Drake May goes 2, then Tom Telesco can jump up and make a trade with the Patriots if they're willing to do that. And I think that that's what they want to do, given that there may have been an opportunity to get CJ Stroud last year, and they just chose not to do that. But then again, I don't know how feasible that would have been with the Texans, taking him at 2. So I think the only quarterback the Raiders do want to trade up for is Jaden Daniels, and they're willing to, see how things play out with maybe Michael Penix. As Tacky writes in the chat here, Derek loves Penix. I'll tell you what, Tacky, you smart son of a bitch. I think I'm going to end up liking Michael Penix the second most out of all these quarterbacks. I'm going to watch him tomorrow. Then I'm going to watch Bo Nix. But I think the injury stuff is what's got everybody so flustered about him, or just not sure about him. But if I watch the tape, I'm probably going to like Michael Penix next to Caleb Williams.
Watch the tape, huh?
Yes, Steven, the YouTube tape, whatever I have access
to. Okay, sweet. I'm going to watch Taskmaster tape. That's what I'm going to be watching. Yeah,
nice. You
watching
enjoy
tape.
that. There you go.
Yeah.
It's not like I stay at home and watch this shit. This is shit when I'm watching, like when I'm on the treadmill or working out.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, see?
So you think like while you're on the treadmill, damn, he needs to work on his mechanics.
Basically, yes.
Wow. Mechanics off. Jot down note.
Yeah, and the people that are working out next to me are like, boy, you see that throws? Yeah, work on his mechanics.
Yeah.
Yeah, try not to fall when you're on the treadmill there, buddy. Tacky, this guy. Derek working out. This guy's funny. Speaking of Raider reporters, Paul Gutierrez, who wrote that article today, Vic Tafur caught up with former Raider Darren Waller, and Darren Waller told him that he is not sure he's going to play football this season. He is contemplating retirement. And not really surprised. Darren Waller's gone through a lot in his life, and he was all set to live in Las Vegas. Who is his wife again, Steven, that plays the WNBA?
Kelsey Plum.
Kelsey Plum. She plays for the Aces, right?
Yep.
And everything was going to be perfect for him in Las Vegas. He, has his podcast out there, and then he gets traded to the Giants. And yeah, I don't blame Darren Waller for just, still mulling it over. It sounds like he's going to give a decision by the draft, but he may not know by then. I don't blame him, but this does revisit, last year where we were like, oh my God, how are you going to trade Darren Waller? I kind of am glad the Raiders moved on in hindsight. I think that Darren Waller is a great player, but I think he's got different priorities in life now, and which is fine. There are things bigger than football. But yeah, he did great things when he was there, and his story is amazing. But I wouldn't be surprised if he walks away, and he has all the right to do that in the world. But, when you sign somebody to a contract like that, you kind of expect him to play it out, but things happen. So in hindsight, with all the injuries and maybe his, not sure about his future, I kind of, revisiting the trade a year ago, I kind of understand why the Raiders wanted to move on.
Yeah, and they turned that third-round pick into Trey Tucker, who is probably going to be your starting slot receiver for next year. So the trade worked out. Giants kind of got screwed with it, though. I don't know what the Giants are doing. Like, good Lord, they got the head coach, but now you have questions at quarterback, and obviously Saquon Barkley's not there anymore. The Giants are the ones getting screwed here. New York Football Giants aren't going to be doing anything. I don't know. Shout out to Waller, and Tacky's asking how old is he? 31. He is 31 years old. When does he turn 32? Turning 32 in September. So he's got quite a while there. But yeah, man. I think it's going to be one of the great what could have beens, I think, with the Raiders had they actually stuck together and kept their core there. And I don't know, the emails didn't come out with John Gruden, and I don't know, him and Derek Carr had something working. And Waller was just so athletic, but in that last season, he was just
literally hamstrung because his hamstring injury, and after that he was just like couldn't get on the field. So Raiders or the Giants got fleeced in that trade. I mean, that's just the fact. But if Waller wants to retire, then by all means he deserves to retire. Plus, he's not half bad of a rapper. So
What?
He's good. He comes out with he's a rapper.
Is he's good?
He's half decent. Yeah, I don't even know what good rap is anymore, to be honest.
Boy, that's a true statement.
Yeah, I don't know what's good and what's bad. I'm very out of touch nowadays, so I don't know. But yeah.
Well, even like the Mo Bamba song that came out a few years ago that was playing at the gym today. Yes, I was at the gym today, Tacky. I like that. That's not rap to me. That's just some guy just saying things loudly.
Right. Well, he actually has lyrics. Darren Waller does. Unlike Shaq West. Hell yeah, that song gets me juiced, dude.
Okay, see, that's like it's different than being like a pump up song, but like I don't know, like it's not rap to me.
Dude. Heat.
All right.
Shaq West got a motherfucking dog.
Steven, 30 years old, trying to relate to the youth.
Yeah, those youths.
Well, speaking of Raiders, former Raiders that are rappers on the side, do you know Antonio Brown has a new NFL rumor Twitter account?
Yeah, CTESPN.
That's ridiculous. So this is the time of year, Steven, where we could be getting to a point here where I find my new DeAndre Hopkins and Dalvin Cook from a year ago. Because I'm still waiting on Justin Simmons news and T. Higgins. And if that doesn't get resolved by the draft, it's going to be a long summer, my friend. Long summer. Updates every podcast. How come I'm not hearing anything about Justin Simmons or T. Higgins? How long let's go on for? Strap in, buddy.
ESPN.
Well, apparently Antonio Brown of CTESPN is reporting that Justin Simmons is close to signing a deal with the Steelers. And people might scoff at that, but the man did predict 2 months ago that Stephon Diggs would be traded to the Texans. So, should we start believing Antonio Brown's CTESPN account?
No.
All right, fair enough.
No. 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 Double no. Triple no.
Yeah.
Quadruple no.
Yeah, he's getting the Dove climbing game. Well, Dove is more of an aggregator, but he's getting in the NFL rumors, the ML football, the NFL notifications, all the bullshit.
Yeah, for somehow Antonio Brown more noble than Dove climbing.
You think so? Huh?
Nah, maybe not.
Yeah,
Antonio Brown has had his legal problems, so I don't even want to mention that. But Dove climbing, I unfollowed him, dude. I couldn't take it anymore. Not after that whole thing that came out on Twitter.
Steven, you're missing all the scoops.
Oh, I'm not.
Yeah, I mean, you basically can find anything else. Dove climbing is just ripping off all the other guys.
Yeah, he's just reporting on reports. He's aggregating. It's what he does. It's fine, but he also wants to have like a stranglehold on the aggregator game. He wants to be like the Adrian Wojnarowski of aggregators.
Yeah, is anybody like that in the NBA or any like other sports that have like the aggregator insider dudes? There's like the MLB or NBA Central.
Yeah, no, there's the NBA Central for that. Baseball doesn't have it. Baseball just has a bunch of really passionate podcasts and media companies who are trying to who are basically trying to be voices for the game, but they don't have any specific aggregators because there's nothing that goes on.
Well, but also there's a little bit going on with baseball right now.
Yeah, not for sure, but I don't know. Baseball's got its own problems.
Well, what do you think about all the pitchers getting injured right now?
Oh man, I think we're seeing the equivalent of the NFL's turf versus grass debate. I think with the way that Major League Baseball and the MLPA are going back and forth, we had this guy on KCBS earlier this week. He was an injury advisor to Major League Baseball, and I asked him straight up if that statement that came out from Tony Clark on last Saturday, when he said that, no, it's not these pitch velocities, it's not spin rate, it's this pitch clock.
Yeah.
This is why. And then Major League Baseball pushed back on it. So I asked this guy flat out, is there any validity to what Tony Clark said? And he's kind of scoffed at the notion. He goes, no, there's nothing to that pitch clock has anything to do with it. And yeah, and in my opinion, like, that is a sign of what's to come. They are just going to be in an all-out war where you're going to have both of them barking at each other with no actual resolution, while their best players, their best pitchers, get their UCL torn and have to undergo Tommy John surgery. I think this is going to be a long-standing battle. What's the cause of it? I don't know. I could see it being a mix of both.
Yeah. Well, what do you think about the uniform problem too?
I mean, it sucks. What else is there more to say about it?
Well, but how about for City Connect night for the Giants, which we can all make fun of the uniforms to begin with, but they weren't ready in time. How is that possible? Yeah. How the hell is that possible?
Yeah, there's a delay.
That's insane.
Yeah, I know, right?
That's crazy. Real quick, what'd you think? I mean, it was a rough night all the way around. Giants just found their bats today on Wednesday, but what'd you think of Blake Snell's debut?
I don't think it was as bad as everyone made it out to be. He didn't have much command of his pitches. He walked a couple of guys, and that sparked a 3-run inning. Like, it happens. My biggest concern was the Giants' offense and them not being able to drive in runs. But then you see all those numbers. There's got to be a regression to the mean at some point, and it happened today. But it also happened today when your starting 9 wasn't the starting 9 you're going to be going out there every day with. You had Tyler Fitzgerald. Jung-Hoo Lee was out of the lineup. He didn't play. Jorge Soler struggling mightily right now. So if I had to, it wasn't a great week, but I also think it's just so early, man. We always get so caught up in this every sport, every sport. And like, whether it's basketball, football, like basketball, to me, you got to wait until, I don't know, give it until like November, December till you could truly learn what teams are like. Give it until, in football, give it until week 4 or week 5, until you can truly try to make any bold statements about those teams. Like, it's so early in the season. There's over 150 of these, well, actually 140 something of these games to go now. Like, that's just, it's way too early to tell anything. It's been disappointing, that's for sure. But good God, we react with every single game. It's wild.
And it's baseball. Like, everybody calm the fuck down.
Yeah.
I would say June, check back in on the Giants.
Yeah.
And then you'll have a better gauge of how they're playing.
What I'm really encouraged by is their starting pitching, though. Their bullpen is not going to be getting nearly as much work as it did last year. When you're getting into those summer months, into the dog days of July, and you can't get a starting pitcher out there for more than 4 innings, it can weigh on a team. But with Webb, Harrison, Snell, and Hicks has been a revelation as a starting pitcher. Like, it seems those guys are going to be able to give you 6-7 solid innings with potentially every outing. I'm not saying every outing, because they're at least 1 or 2 times they're going to get roughed up. But damn, like that, I don't know. I'm feeling a little bit better about this season. And Ernie too. Mato's killing it in Sacramento. Is he? Last time I looked, he was batting like 208 or something. Luciano's killing it in Sacramento, but Matos isn't.
I'd also ask people, do you know what record the Houston Astros have right now?
Mm-mm.
Same as the Giants. The Giants are 5-8. The Astros are 4-9. Both teams have new managers. Give it time. Bob Melvin's figuring out the Giants. The Giants are figuring out Bob Melvin. Everybody simmer down. Calm the fuck down. Enjoy the Warriors right now.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, the Pirates got off to a 21-9 start or something last year, and
And
look where they
Joey
ended
Bart
up,
is
so.
doing amazing. But everybody,
Yes,
calm
he
down.
is. Yes.
All right.
Yep.
Did you see Joey Bart? Did you see Brock Purdy on First Take?
I didn't see any of it on First Take. No.
I'm going to play it for you right now and everybody else. If I can share my screen. Yes, I can. All right. This was hilarious to me. Here is Brock Purdy on First Take, who normally all debates whether or not he's good or not all the time. But the man showed up. He's promoting something with Toyota. Here's Brock Purdy on First Take.
Entered the NFL as Mr. Irrelevant and then quickly became beyond relevant amongst the elite, leading the 49ers to the Super Bowl this last season. We welcome to the show San Francisco quarterback Brock Purdy, who joins us on behalf of Toyota, the official automotive partner of the NFL. Brock, thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks for having me, guys. Here on set with Toyota, filming our commercial for the NFL draft. Got the Toyota Crown Signia behind me. We need to get in it, Stephen A.
Yes, sir.
I
I'm trying.
love it.
I don't mind, Brock. I'll get in it.
We need
It's not a problem.
to get a shot of that after, Brock. It looks like you got some good weather out there. So tell me this: you stepped in when injury hit the Niners and never looked back. What is it about your connection with that offense that's made your team such a powerhouse in the NFL? Brock, you got me?
Oh, that's tough.
I think it looks like he might have froze for a
Might have
second.
froze. He might
All
have
right.
froze, yeah.
Well, why he froze? Hey, Shannon, you come back. What do you think it is that
Poor
he was
Shannon.
able to step in and the Niners have been able to be such a powerhouse? A lot of people called him a game manager, and he's really shown he's a game changer.
Well, sometimes you have to be a game manager. You have to understand the situation. The situation.
All
that
right, so
you're in.
Shannon has to
I mean, sometimes
filibuster,
you like
and
to look at
then
the game and it says,
they try to get him
Brock,
back.
are you back, Brock?
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
All right, we
there
can
he
hear you.
is.
We can hear you now.
No
We can hear you.
worries.
Go ahead, Molly.
Brock, did you hear my question? I'll repeat it one more time just in case. But essentially, I was saying you stepped in and never looked back, right? Injury hit. And what is it about your connection with your teammates that you've become such a powerhouse in the NFL to Niners?
Oh no.
No, I think
He's frozen again.
he's frozen
Technical
again.
difficulties.
All right.
Technical difficulties. Shannon, go ahead and finish that answer that you were providing.
Oh,
about
poor
Brock
Shannon.
Purdy, bro.
Oh,
all the
man.
time.
All right, we get it. But both times. It's hilarious. And what recommendations did you see me have, Steven?
Nothing. It's just funny that a Curb Your Enthusiasm clip was at the top of your YouTube recommendations.
course.
as well.
Of course.
Yeah. I just gotta say, I love Stephen A's fake laugh. He's got one of the best fake laughs in the business. You know?
Why do you say that?
Like when Purdy said Toyota, yeah, Stephen A, I gotta get you in one of the, like, just sounding so bored wherever he was at. Yeah, we got Toyota in the background. Stephen A, gotta get you in one of those. And then like Stephen A goes, yeah, hey, I'm gonna get in one. Yeah,
Now,
right
Stephen
at the top.
A definitely knows how to he'll say things behind people's back, but when it comes to them being on the air, he'll, hey, Brock Purdy's the man.
So you sent a little Calipari to Copes and Tim. Nice.
Are you looking at all my things? Yes, I did.
Well, yeah, because you're sharing your screen.
I know. I'm closing that now. Well, I'm sure the Toyota people were upset that that Brock Purdy didn't get a chance to promote the Toyota stuff on First Take. But I don't think Brock Purdy cares because he's got a way bigger endorsement going forward. Check out Brock Purdy's new commercial, Steven.
This isn't just any field. It's a field ready to challenge you to beat your best yet using the #1 corn seed on the market. I've had the chance to harvest some Pioneer corn on my in-laws farm firsthand last fall, and I'm excited about our brands teaming up. Let's go dominate the field this year. And remember, what's next happens here.
Brock Purdy for corn seed.
Makes sense. That makes all the sense in the world. Yeah,
It's
man.
apt. It's very apt. Good for him. You know what? Get that endorsement money, whichever way you can. I'm all in. Like, I like to think though in those meetings, Purdy's just like, yeah, whatever. Just sign. Just give me whatever. What do I have to sign? Just let me sign on the dotted line here. Let's get this over with.
I think on the contract here, on the contrary, dude. I think that, I mean, did you see him kind of doing his thing in Iowa on the bye week where he was doing all the farming shit?
No.
Oh yeah, he spent his bye week where I think in Iowa, just doing tractors and stuff. The man loves corn seed, so I'm sure all these big, hey Pepsi, hey Marlboro, probably not, but all Pizza Hut, all these companies came to Brock Purdy, and then Pioneer Corn showed up, and they were like, Brock, we know what you like. You're a man that likes tractors and farming. Will you be the face of Pioneer Corn Seed? And he was like, where do I sign up?
I would have loved it if he was like leaning back on a chair, feet up, cowboy boots up, got the corn seed in his arm, and he's like, it's like these guys only do things so they could get paid. And that's just really sad.
And it's a choice of a new generation. That's
And
one
it's
of
a
the
choice of
best.
a new generation.
That's one of the best scenes of all time in movie history, Wayne's World.
Yep. New print, yellow, different,
but the same. Speaking of
Good for him.
movies,
How about that? Corn seed.
good for Brock Purdy. All right, we'll get out of here on this. We haven't done this in a while. We haven't looked at a trailer in a long time. And I think this is one of the bigger anticipated movies coming out this year. Controversial when the first one came out, but now they're doing a sequel. And this one is a little different than the original. Let's take a look at the Joker sequel trailer.
Let's go, boys. It's showtime. Wakey, wakey.
Hey, Fleck, you got a joke for us today?
We use music to make us whole, to balance the fractures within ourselves.
I'm nobody. I haven't done anything with my life like you have.
Caught in a bad romance, am I right? Ooh.
Get out of here.
What the world needs now is a love, sweet love. It's the only thing
I got the run.
that's
It's
just
important.
to live a love. What the world is love, sweet love.
Tell us, what's changed, Arthur? I'll tell you what's changed. I'm not alone anymore. That's what we should be talking about.
I want to see the real you.
Yeah, that's sick.
What do you think?
I love it. I love it. I'm excited. I wish it was open right now. If it opened on the first week of football season, I would choose that over football.
Fair enough. Look, I am interested in seeing it, but the musical aspect is going to be interesting because it is going to be a musical with Lady Gaga, and it may be like they do, funny musical numbers while they're killing people. It's going to be dark regardless, but I don't know how people are going to react to the musical aspect of it, and it could be interesting. I probably will be down for it, but it's going to be a big contrast to the original.
You think so?
It looks like it. I mean, there's a reason why they got Lady Gaga. She'll sing songs in it, and I think she fits Harley Quinn pretty well. I really liked the first movie. I know it was very controversial when it came out, but I thought that it was very well done. Joaquin Phoenix and everybody involved in the first one. I didn't know if
controversial. What was
about
what
the
was
Joker?
controversial about? Yeah. What was controversial
I
about?
think if I remember correctly, I think a lot of people were saying that it was kind of, and it's not the right way to view the movie, but
Yeah,
it was kind of, I guess, like kind of pushing like incel culture, I guess, or something like that, or like, kind of making, heroes out of disturbed individuals, where I'm like, that's just movies though. And it's the
Right.
Joker. Now, this is a totally different adaptation. Like, this is the darkest I've ever seen when it came to the Joker. But I thought it was really well done and different, and I thought it was very good film. But
No, I loved it.
no, I thought it was very good too. But I think this second one is, I don't know if this movie needed a sequel, is what I'm basically saying. And I'm down to see it, but I don't know if we needed a sequel to this.
That's the thing. I had a couple of different reactions to both the Joker and then the new Batman movie with Robert Pattinson. I loved the angles that they were trying to take, but the Joker, it felt like, I guess it needed a sequel, but I didn't really know what they would do with it. Whereas with the Batman, you had that first one, sure, with the Riddler, and that the actor's name who's escaped, Paul Dano.
Yeah. Yep.
And you had him, but then you also had that part at the end where the Joker is going to be part
Yes.
of that Batman series.
Mhm.
And that one, I walked away from that one like, this first one was good, but if that second one's going to be anything like the Dark Knight series, where I walked away thinking the first one was good, and then the second movie's the one that includes the Joker, like, I'm more inclined to go watch that. But I also love Todd Phillips as a director. It's crazy that he went from making, the Hangover movies and being in all of those ones where he's just that random guy with an afro who's a super creep, to
Especially in
now,
Road Trip.
Yeah. Jesse and I watched that the other day, all time. She fell asleep, but it's I don't know. I'd rather get a sequel to that one, but I'm looking forward to this new second Joker, whatever. I mean, if they're going to just keep on repurposing it, I like the Batman.
The Batman was cool. The Joker is a character that's been redone so many times at different interpretations. I thought that Heath Ledger did a great job. I thought Jack Nicholson did a great job. I think Mark Hamill will always be the best, but that's just the voice. The original Joker movie that came out a few years ago, awesome, very dark, different, very disturbing. I love the score in it. It's haunting as hell. But yeah, I just didn't think they needed to keep telling that story. There's so many different Batman, side movies, and which what's part of what canon and whatnot. But I'm gonna check this out. It's gonna be. I'm sure it's gonna be very well done. If Joaquin Phoenix comes back and Lady Gaga's attached, I'm sure it's gonna be dark and disturbing, but probably very well done.
Yeah.
All right then.
That's all I got.
That's all I got too. Anything else, Steven?
Going to Disneyland this weekend.
Nice. So yeah, you and I are going to LA at the same time, but I'm not going to Disneyland.
Why not?
Yeah, I've been there. I'm good.
Fair enough.
I mean, I'll probably go again in some point in my lifetime, but that's not
Yeah.
why I'm there to go. I'm not there to go to Anaheim this weekend.
Okay. Yeah.
But you and Jesse have a great time. What is your plan? Are you staying at the Disney Hotel?
No, I'm just going a solo trip to Disneyland. It's just me. Jesse's staying here. I just told her like, yeah, I want to go to Disneyland and I don't want to go with you, so I'm gonna go solo.
And I'm sure she was very accepting of that.
That's a joke. No, she is. So we're gonna we're going all weekend. I don't know where we're staying. We're staying somewhere along that boulevard that's right outside Disney. And then
You don't want to stay at the
see
Disney
everyone-
Hotel and have a bunch of Disney dollars?
Everyone thinks I'm actually going solo. That's crazy. Yeah. No, yeah, we're going down there, but we're gonna meet up with a group of friends and
Nice.
yeah, and we're all just gonna have a grand old time. It's with us and then this other couple who we're friends with also getting married. We're all going to convene in Anaheim and go for a couple of days. Looking forward to it.
Sweet.
Not looking forward to all the walking because my feet are gonna hurt like an asshole. But yeah.
Your feet are going to hurt like an asshole.
I don't know what the hell that meant.
No, bring a dude. I logged 30,000 steps on a Fitbit when I went to last time I was at Disney World or Disneyland.
Jeez. Now I don't know. I'm not going to keep track, but we'll see.
And I went right before the pandemic hit, like literally like 2 weeks before. It's crazy.
All right.
The whole world went to shit. Enjoy.
Yeah.
Are you going to do the Star Wars ride that I guess you need to reserve a spot for 2 days in advance?
I haven't been there yet, so we'll see. I haven't
All right,
been to it. I really want to go. So
Well, enjoy, my friend. I will be in LA. Got to see my old buddies that I went to high school with in college, and probably going to go see Monkey Man, the new Dev Patel movie. Heard good things. So we will both be back on Sunday, but probably we're not on the cards to do a show that day. So we'll be back on Monday, actually pretty early because the Giants play a day game that day. So we'll be on maybe a little early, like 5 or 6. We'll let you guys know, but we'll react to the Warriors' last 3 regular season games and who they end up playing in the play-in. So we'll react to all that come Monday. To all the friends that joined us today, Otis Bird, Rockin' New Era, Ernie 2, aka Ernie 1, Tacky, our new guy, 415 Wes, Skills, and AJ Cruz. Thanks to all you guys for coming every episode, or when you can, except for Tacky. Steven, say what you always say. Have a good time in LA and say what you always say. Sorry, cut you off.
Hey, Phoebe, it's just our opinion.